compassionate souls. How are you? I am geeked up for this gospel. I did not know what the gospel was when I recorded last week saying that God spoke through my fingers saying, what I want you to do on these vlogs is show people how to live the gospel. Well, I read the gospel today and I was beside myself. God incidents, not a coincidence, because the gospel is all about Him choosing me and Him asking me to go and share the world and bear fruit and receive the joy that only the Father can give me. This is the epitome of why I'm doing this, why I left my executive career, to help others enrich their lives through faith and prayer. The fundamental changes in my life are based on my faith. So here we go. I'm going to read you the gospel, but I just want to kind of get to those of you that have never read the Bible, don't really know what the gospel is, and certainly don't practice any faith. Just know, and I'm stealing this from Father Richard Simon, the Bible is like the best soap opera ever. And I'm the biggest loser ever because I still record DVR, whatever you call it nowadays, Days of Our Lives. I've been watching that thing for like 30 years. So when you think of the Bible, what I used to think, because I was not faith-filled 5 years ago at all, zero, I thought the Bible was just these, thous, those, blah, blah, blah. And quite frankly, I would want to poke my eyes out if anyone made me read the thing. And it's quite the contrary. It really is applicable to today. This isn't 2,000 years ago stuff. It's stuff that we face today. And it's even cooler that all the biggest sinners, like the murderers and the adulterers and all those that were out there, have been exalted to be like the best prophets and saints, etc. So it just goes to show how merciful God is and how it doesn't matter how bad we've been in our lives. All we have to do is repent and ask for forgiveness through reconciliation, confession, but that's a whole nother topic. We'll get to that later. Okay, let me read the gospel, and I put it in the link in the email so you can go read it yourself on the USCCB website, the United States of Bishops website. United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, to be exact. Sorry. Okay. The Gospel according to John, chapter 15, verses 9 through 17. Jesus said to his disciples, "As the Father loves me, so I also love you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I have called you friends, because I have told you everything I have heard from my Father. It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you, and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. This I command you. Love one another." So here's the deal. Before I found my faith, I really thought I loved people and I was compassionate. The whole reason that I pulled together this compassionate culture community is because of the love and the compassion and the charity that I feel for people because of faith. It was funny, I was talking to my brother and he says to me, you know, Kendra, why don't you just kind of cut out that like religious part of it all and just go out with your message about leading with compassion? And I said, you know what, Sean? It doesn't work that way. If I didn't have my faith, and I didn't build that relationship with God, He wouldn't have graced me with this abundant love and this joy. The joy that's in the gospel, joy is here twice, is such a small word, but it is so much grander than happiness, and it's not fleeting. It can only be found in God. So when God chose me, He graced me with faith, number one, because I wholeheartedly believe in it, and joy, and peace. Peace is not in here, but boy, do I have a sense of peace knowing that I can give it all to Him and trust that He is going to help me day by day. But I didn't get there like that. I mean, I'm telling you, the first couple times I went to Mass, I was clueless. All I was concerned about was if I was standing and kneeling at the right time and saying the right things. That's how I started. And God slowly worked on me. It was a process. And your process and your relationship and your experience is going to be completely unique to you. So I'm just sharing mine. But I really want to get to the benefits part of it, meaning what actually happened along the 5 years of my journey. So in the beginning of the journey, I, again, was just going along kind of in the motions. I didn't even really realize that the Eucharist was the living God and that Mass, we were preparing to receive Him and all of that. That came pretty quick in the beginning. And then I started understanding that everyone has a cross to bear, and we are all holding our own issues and problems in this world. And I'm no better than the guy across the way from me, the homeless person on the street, or the President of the United States. At the end of it all, I am another child of God, just like every other human being on this planet. But I didn't have that epiphany and just all of a sudden love everybody like Jesus. I would say something, I'd be so judgmental. I'd see someone walking down the street and I'd be like, oh my gosh, look at what they're wearing. And then I would say it and I would want to eat my words because immediately I thought, oh, that's not very Christian. I'm supposed to love thy neighbor as thyself. That means everyone. People I like, people I don't like, people I know, people who are just, sitting there, standing in front of me, no matter what, I need to love them. And then maybe a year or so later, my heart was growing softer and God was growing in me. So those thoughts would come into my head, but I was able to control my tongue. So I didn't say, oh my gosh, look at what that chick is wearing. I thought it, but I didn't say it. And I thought that was a pretty good step, right? Okay, at least I'm controlling my tongue here. And then another, time passed. I don't know how long exactly. It was probably maybe like a year, maybe. And that was when I realized, when I'm looking at people, I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, look at what that chick's wearing. I'm looking at that person in her uniqueness, saying, what a beautiful child of God. Sometimes I have those thoughts, don't get me wrong, but they're fleeting. They come and they go. And now I just look at people with love. So love one another as I have loved you can only be given to you through God, by His graces. And I didn't even know what the grace of God was because I had no relationship with Him. And I thought I was happy. I thought I had everything, along with stress and anxiety and sleepless nights and worry, all of that, plus little snide remarks and judgmental comments and judgmental attitudes. I mean, I was really compassionate with the people I liked, but not so much with the people who weren't like me or didn't agree with me or the ones that I didn't know. I only received that grace of compassion from God. And that is why I left my executive career to get out in the world and share this. It's like the best secret ever. At least I thought it was a secret. There were a lot of you people out there who already had this secret. So really, the joy that you get, and joy, you see that word all over during Christmas. It's such a small word. I really didn't think much about it, but now I know what that is. It's not happiness on steroids, and it's not a fleeting thing. Joy is rooted in the love and the relationship that you get with God through faith and, quite frankly, through the beautiful sacraments of the Catholic Church. So every time I receive the Lord in the Eucharist and every time I go to confession, I am cleansing, he's pruning me, let's just say. Last week's gospel was, I am the vine, you are the branches. You can do nothing without me. Period. And if you are with me, I will have you grow and bear much fruit. And I'll prune those not so good spots of you. And I'll continue to have you grow and bear more fruit. Otherwise, if you don't want to be with me, you're going to be a branch. I'm going to cut you off. And oh, by the way, you get thrown in the fire. We all know what that means, right? You get thrown in the fire. You're going to Hades. You're going to hell. You're going to burn. Unless you're with me. That's a little heavy, but at the end of the day, I get it because I now truly have seen, have felt, have experienced God's graces, and I just can't get enough. I cannot get enough. But let me also confess to you, over the last couple of months, and I'm a human being here, I am not perfect. I was 100% task-oriented. I got to get this done. I wrote a book. I got to design it. I got to edit it. I got to get this compassionate culture together. Oh, by the way, I got to change a name because I redo this. Oh, and then I got to do a website and this and that and that. I was putting in 15, 16, 17 hours a day. And my husband was actually getting a little miffed at me saying, can you please shut that laptop down? It will be there tomorrow. But it was such a passion for me that I kept wanting to get the stuff done. Where do you think God fell on that prioritization list? For about a month and a half to 2 months, he got so low. I was getting up in the morning. I started to pray on my laptop, and then all of a sudden, bing, Facebook, bing, Instagram, bing, LinkedIn, and an email would come, and I would just say, oh, well, I'll just respond to that real quick, and then I'll get back to my reading. And I wasn't really dedicating any time. And then, I don't have time to go to Mass today. I'm going to watch it on TV, and I'm halfway watching it, responding to emails, and before you knew it, even my prayer life started to suffer. Guess what? I freaked out. I was worrying. I had sleepless nights, total anxiety. I had no patience. I was starting to get short, and I realized, wait a minute, what am I doing? First of all, I'm doing this for God. I need God to help me with this because I clearly have no idea what I'm doing. And I know what it's like when I'm starting my day with God and I see him throughout my day and I recognize him and I spend time and I thank him. Man, those are incredibly rich days. They are days that I am bursting. That's that joy, bursting out of myself and cannot wait to get out into the world and show people what real compassion is and a soul that is filled with God. Well, I wasn't doing that, and so I really, and to my spiritual director's, credit, Father Caliente, we sat down and I can do nothing without God, sorry. Sorry, I can do nothing without God. That's the root of Catholicism. You're there with him every step of the way. And oh, by the way, he's the one that's in the driver's seat. So while I was crazy with my life, I had my smartphone, I had the GPS on, but it was on mute, and I threw it in the passenger seat, and I just kept driving. I got lost, and every now and then I'd look over, right? Like, oh, what do you want me to do? Oh, okay, I take a left here. But that's it. Well, now the GPS is on, full blast, in the driver's seat, and I'm in the passenger seat, looking over to him, asking him, how do you want me to live my life? So the gospel tells us the way in which we need to live. That last commandment, love one another as I have loved you. You can't have God's love without God. You can't. You can't love the way that you're supposed to without knowing God's love. It's so incredibly different than the love that we have here between us human beings. And love, that's why I call it the compassionate culture. I don't think love does it justice. We have so many different levels of love defining in the English language. You could say, I love your shoes, I love my puppy, I love God. Well, are those all equal? So compassion to me is deeper rooted because it also has that empathy for people that have stuff going on in their lives, and that's every single one of us. Addictions, marriage issues, child issues, work problems, I mean, it goes on and on. Illnesses. You all know every single person has problems going on. So can't we be just a little bit more compassionate towards each other and love one another as Jesus loves us? That's the point of this community. And Goosebump Central, that is the gospel that I start off with today. And I want you to live this week. Love one another. And go to God, ask Him, hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I don't know the first thing about this Catholic stuff, but you know what? I'm opening my heart. Show me. By the way, show me. I went back to my book and I wanted to make sure that the word was show. It wasn't teach. Show people how to live the gospel, not teach people how to live the gospel. Show. Because I need to do it too. I need to live my life in God's way. He is the way. So if I'm not living it, but yet I'm telling all the other people to live it, how does that reconcile itself? So it's hilarious to me that the word show was there. It was more funny than anything because he's funny. He's a funny guy. I'm like, I got that one. I get it. So that's the deal. This week, love. And ask God to give you that love and to give you that joy and to build that relationship. Because that is the way to true peace and happiness. Alrighty, I can't wait to hear how this works. I'm gonna get out there more with some Facebook Live. If you can like me on the Facebook page, that would be awesome. It's kve.lead.with.compassion. And share, please share for anyone that isn't faith-filled or can use more love and compassion in their life. I want to build this huge momentum and community with you. I think we could all benefit from this. This is a we thing. It's a him thing. I'm really trying not to make this about me. I promise. That's why I sit and I pray before I sit in front of this camera, so that I can humbly show how I've stumbled and fallen, and also how beneficial it is when I look to Him to say, I'm sorry, and can you help me get back up again and love everybody as you love me. So let's rock it this week. Have a blessed and inspired day.